Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Darkening of Mirkwood, session
80?
82.
Oh.
Dang.
Right? I really wanted to hit 100 by my birthday for no particular reason, but that would mean like running
Every
eight,
single week?
like
Like on
18. We'd
Tuesdays?
have to run like 3 games a week. Um,
I could work with that.
yeah, yeah.
How times have changed, Sophie.
What do you mean?
You are
One,
very,
one ring
huh?
is a game that I could play every week. Like I would drop all other games to play One Ring.
All right. Yeah, so session 82. Beginning at the end of the year 2962 of the Third Age, and we'll hopefully be moving into the year 2963, when last we left our heroes. Journeying into the heart of Mirkwood, searching for their lost friends Duvaniel the Wayward Elf and Narvi the Road Warden, Warsong, Rani, Angi, and Ragnakar followed the trail of Basher to the well in the wood. There, they uncovered the remains of some arcane ritual and found clear evidence of the road that the Road Warden had passed through the clearing before they managed to wake and anger the thing in the well itself. As they fought for their lives, Rani accomplished a great deed of which any warrior might be proud, slaying the creature with a daring leap and a well-aimed spear thrust, winning unto herself great renown and clearing herself of any charge of cowardice. Searching the bottom of the well, they found the remains of those who had been sacrificed there, among them Narvi and Duvaniel. Taking their things back to be gathered unto their people, the heroes returned triumphantly to the village of Stonyford, where Rani saved face with her father. After taking leave of her friends, Warsong traveled back home to discover that Lady Asfrid, great with child, had been taken, kidnapped, while she was out with her riding with her maidservant, Berthagund.
I don't think Berthagoon was mentioned last time.
Well, that's because the last thing that was said last session, and you'll have to take my word for this since we couldn't get a recording, was, "Come inside, dear, and I'll tell you all about it." And so that's where we're going to pick up this morning, or this evening, whatever time it is. Don't really know. Um,
Time, right?
what's that?
Are we recording this time?
We are recording. Yeah. I got up this morning and worked on Old Norse and went to work. And then I came home from work and I worked on Old Norse. So the whole day is just sort of this cyclic, loopy, loopy being the operative word. Yeah. So, Warsong, your mother, Gelvira, takes you inside the house and makes a cup of something hot for you to drink as she sits you down at the table. In the corner, you can see her loom and her sewing work and sort of a pile of things, probably from Lord Kaewina's household and from the people living within the stockade there at Sunstead. People who bring clothes and bits and bobs for your mother to mend. And so she sits with some of her work in her lap, slowly threading a very fine needle, of which she is quite proud. It is of dwarven craftsmanship, and it is made out of real metal. Threading this fine metal needle in and out through the fabric as she talks. It was just at the end of spring. Lady Asfrid went out riding with Berthagund. Nothing unusual there. And she didn't come back. I had asked her, well, I don't mean to speak ill of her, but I thought it'd be best if she didn't go out riding that day, considering how soon the baby was to come and all. But she will have her way, and well, according to Berthagund, they were surprised in the wood, and the last thing Berthagund remembers is someone pulling a hood or a sack or something over her head. When she woke up again, Lady Asfrid was gone. We've not heard anything of her since, although Lord Kewina has sent word north, south, east, west, looking for word of her. But I don't mean to give up hope, but I fear the worst. Your father and brothers are out right now, traveling. Should be on their way back from the Black Tarn by this time, trying to see if there's any word of her.
And there were no tracks. There was no indication of. She's a mighty warrior, and Berthagoon is not inexperienced.
Well, a mighty warrior, yes, but also greatly with child. And even the mightiest warrior could be surprised, I suppose.
Surely it took more than one, though, and there was no trace of a direction?
They found a few tracks off in the forest. Not goblins, we don't think. They're seldom so careful about what they do. I suspect the work of men, but the trail went cold before too long.
No horses? Other than hers?
As a rule, horses don't like to go into Mirkwood.
You said that Lady Asfrid had been riding.
Yes, they did go riding. Right up to the forest edge. They were,
Ah,
I think, making a bit of a picnic.
I see.
Things have been good here in Sunstead for the last few years. No one's ever had any reason to... Wow. No
Has
one...
anything changed since then? Around Sunset?
She kind of looks down at her lap. I mean, it's not my place to say.
What do you mean?
Well, Lord Kewina, he's been about, as you might expect. Lady Asfrid meant everything to him. I suppose Berthagun's been a great support to him during this time, but people will talk.
What are they saying, Mama?
I don't think there's anything to it.
If Angi was here, it would be all conjecture right now.
If any of your characters were here, they'd be all conjecture.
Sadly, all of Ben's characters are hundreds of miles away, and some of them are dying horrible, gruesome deaths, so...
Hashtag save us.
Why is Foxglove dying right now?
Because she burned the Morwin's.
Who said anything about the Foxglove dying? She's probably fine. She's probably fine.
Yeah, I'm sure she's fine now.
The other ones are already dead. Or Angi.
Right. Well, I suppose you'll want to get back to your work as soon as possible. I'll send word up to the hall to Lord Kewina to tell him that you've come.
Yes.
He'll, I'm sure, send you out. Black is not. Well, rather selfishly, I wish you could stay longer, but I do understand.
I stay as much as I'm able. But if Lady Asfred... How long until she was due? Would the baby have already been born?
By now, certainly. Tell me about yourself. How have you been? How was your trip to Wusel?
It did not go as well as I hoped, but I told you about that in the letter.
Aye.
We did find what happened to the road warden, and he's been avenged. And she kind of glances uneasily at her backpack. She doesn't exactly want to pull the tentacle out in front of her mom.
Solid plan.
Dad would be different.
Well then, I expect you'll want to
You
rest.
took a tentacle.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be dried and hung
If
over
you
the door.
if you put it in a pot and sprinkle a little water on it, it grows a new monster.
Yeah, no, he's
Oh,
actually
that sounds like a
he's
great
right
idea.
there. So you don't need to hang it over the door. You need to put it in a large glass jar and kind of fill it with green liquid.
Yeah, it just goes straight like Village Witch. It's a good plan.
That's right.
It's a
No,
good plan.
no, it's a trophy. It gets preserved and hung up.
Yeah, actually, by now, in the time that it would have taken you to cross Mirkwood again, like it's kind of dried up and putrid.
No, she has properly preserved it. That was always part of the plan.
Okay.
The salted pork is particularly good.
Yes.
We wanted to make sure
And Rani's well.
she is. She's very well.
Good. That's good. It's good to have you back.
It's good to be home.
All right. So, is there anything anyone wants to do before we get into our fellowship phases?
I would like to, and maybe this is part of my fellowship phase. I would like to return the staff of the road warden and the mighty green gem that was part of it to either Narvi's family or, which I don't know if any of them are left, or I guess to Kona, I guess, since she was his betrothed.
Okay. Do you want to do that as a fellowship phase undertaking, like the return the cultural treasure?
I could be, yeah.
Return it to Kona because then we know whether she's still alive or not.
But would that be the cultural treasure, and what quality is it? Is it an item of worth, a fine item, or superior item? I guess they all give me one standing.
Um.
I'm looking at page 23 of the Rivendell book for those rules. Also, the mask is going to Frar. Does that also count as a?
Yes, it does.
So can I do them both at the same time, or does that need to be two separate events? As in, can I do
Those.
as
Turn
in,
out
could
with
I
the
have
fellowship
found him?
phase and leave an item of unusual worth in the safekeeping of his folk. Bestowed several rewards to different pieces of war gear. May visit the treasury more than once in separate fellowship phases. Okay, so it seems like it's got to be separate.
Okay.
Rules is written. So, I mean, you can do both. You can do both. You'll just only take credit for one.
Okay. So, or I could like carry around the mask. That's. It's cursed and used to be worn by a road warden and probably has goopy sticky things stuck inside of it.
A little bit.
All right, so I will. Can I leave it? Could I leave it with? No, that seems sort of jerky, cursed. I was gonna say I could leave it with Randy's family, and then I'm sure this is fine, guys. Just don't open the back. And no water, no food after midnight, or don't get away either. All right, bye. Okay, in that case, I will. Can I say that I have hidden the mask in a safe place somewhere in the Anduin, since it would take an extra time to find Frar, or should I just say that I'm carrying it around with me?
Whatever you like.
I would hate for it to be lost again. Do I know any dwarves in the any of the Grey Delve dwarves that I could have left it with?
Sure.
Ha! You know you can trust them?
I was gonna say, can I make an insight roll to see if I can trust these guys?
One moment.
You should just deliver it and not take credit for it.
This is true, but standing is expensive, man.
Standing is
It is.
expensive.
If I could get it for free, but on my next fellowship phase, that would be the way.
I
to
mean,
go.
you do have 2 fellowship phases.
Yeah, but I have other things I want to do. I need to hunt for the Morwen because she's a jerk.
You do know a dwarf by the name of Belly,
Hey?
who is he's a merchant that travels back and forth between the Blue Mountains, far west in Eriador, and the Iron Hills. Like, he makes the trek. But he's a dwarf of your acquaintance, distant kin.
Okay. Barley, my friend. I have in this very bag an item of extreme, well nigh immeasurable worth, which I am saving for King Frog.
Oh, so he's calling himself King Frar now, is he?
No, I'm calling him King Frog because I'm a good Grey Delve dwarf.
I
No.
mean, I just think that's taking a rather a lot upon himself, King Frar the Beardless.
Bully, have you? And he opens the bag and holds it up for him.
Oh, that's quite old, is what that is.
Is a forge mask of
Nogrod.
yes, Nogrod. See, you are a good dwarf. I knew I could trust you. This is a forge mask of Nogrod, and I would like to give it to King Frar. Now, will you happen to know where he is, or if you happen to run across him, could you be giving it to him?
I could do that.
And if I find that you've sold it,
I don't have to bow and scrape and call him King Frar the Beardless, do I?
no, you just have to say that this came from Angie. And he pulled it. Yes, well, and there's a whole long story, but it used to belong to the Road Warden, and I thought it should belong to him now.
I see, and what would the Road Warden have to say about this?
Not
Exactly.
much, given that he has been eaten by a large, ancient, horrible thing in a pit somewhere, which I killed or helped kill. I didn't specifically kill it myself. I'd help, but it's dead now, and this is what I. Put
All right, you have no need to tell me your tall tales. It's no secret that they call you mad.
And that's because I have mad skills.
Sure, I'll take the mask.
Okay, now, if
Just please stop telling me stories.
Can I check and see if I can trust him?
You can certainly try.
That's a good call. You should
Okay.
always test if you can trust
TN
people.
14.
TN 14.
All right, plus 8, so that's 14.
Plus 8? Oh, because you're Shadow?
Fifth neck of the dwarves.
Holy
and Shadow
crap.
skill rolls.
I mean, Belly is a rather suspicious person himself. Tends to be skeptical, paranoid, takes things with a pinch of salt. You can probably trust him.
All right, Belly, I'm trusting you. If you fail me, I will let it be known far and wide that you lost, / sold, / gave away, / were an unfaithful little twat this treasure.
Right then. So, if you're all done threatening me with
It
your...
wasn't so much a threat as just a promise.
That's literally what everyone who threatens you says.
Well, mine is less threatening and more.
Promising?
It's the sort of thing that you say to your kin.
I see why the Grey Delve Dwarves are kind of all spread about.
Well, I have to go off to Erebor and find the road warden's kid. So you'll be giving this to Frau then, and or hanging on for me, and then I'll be going to the mountain. So farewell.
Farewell. But are you really leaving this time? Because you said farewell about 3 times already.
Well,
And you've
yes.
drunk half my liquor and not paid for any of it, so maybe you should go.
All right.
That's the solution to that.
Vaguely embarrassed.
All right, so then, so your first fellowship phase action is you're going to turn in the staff of the road warden for a point of standing. Very good. So let's go ahead and do fellowship phases then. So we'll start left to right. Illyria, are you ready?
No.
We'll start right to left.
I mean, yeah.
All right, so beginning with you, Warsong, what are you going to do for your first fellowship phase? Not your year end, but your very first fellowship phase.
Roll for shadow. And also for you.
You cut out there a bit. What'd you say?
Oh, just for the record purpose. Ben, Devaniel in her one shot had stated the intention of making a locket or something with the lock of hair from
Yes.
Dead Dwarf Girl. Did she actually do that? It wasn't mentioned or role played later, but would she have done that any time?
I would say she probably did. I was thinking she would carry it with her. But I don't know that. I think from what I remember, she had it like in a small leather pouch.
Warsong found that in the bottom of the well. She is now
Okay.
wearing it next to another pendant that she always wears that's got a rune A on it. Anyway, just for the record. And also on her way back, she stopped and bought some, I don't know, ale? Is that what they drink? For Moondrick, who sold her the mirror.
Very good.
So
He was very pleased to see you.
yeah, she was, yeah. Okay, so first fellowship phase, she's going to roll for clearing shadow.
All right.
So let me get that pulled up. TN 14.
I believe so.
Nice.
Holy crap!
You are. Yeah. No. What is that? Yeah. Wow. How many points of shadow is that?
What the?
Whoa.
That is amazing. So, yeah, she won't do that. Roll at clearing shadow again. That's 6, I think.
I have the
think-
thingy open. Let's see here. Extraordinary success is 6. Yep.
All right
And
then.
if you use Sanctuary, you may roll twice.
I get to roll it twice.
That's what it says. You may make 2 rolls in a Sanctuary.
To get a sanctuary, you have to take the open sanctuary fellowship phase action
But these are
undertaking.
common, right? Wouldn't
What's-
it?
What's that?
This is where she lives, isn't it? Automatically a sanctuary.
No,
Like, you get-
sanctuaries are something that the party has.
Oh, I see.
So this is just home. Now, your home could be a sanctuary, but a sanctuary is something that the whole party has. Right now, the only 2 sanctuaries you have are Rosgable and Laketown.
Where are we right now?
Well, it's up to you to decide where you would like to spend your fellowship phase. There's 2. There's a short. So Illyri, you and Borlad, following the battle with the 2 trolls, you and Borlad left to return back to the land of the Beornings to tend your injuries.
Okay.
And probably not have to look Granny in the eye for a little bit.
That's probably true. Yeah.
So that's where you would have gone to. So it'll be up to you to decide where you want to spend your first fellowship phase, which will kind of be what you're doing right after the last adventure, right? Basically at the end of summer, and then a year-end fellowship phase. So,
Okay.
that was your fellowship
That was
phase, and then what are you doing for your year-end, Sophie?
year end. I want to do a search for answers, and I'm not. Is looking up the Morwen and trying to figure out what happened to Asfrid two different things?
Not necessarily.
Can she, is there stuff that she can do in her home area to, as far as the Morwen goes? Because I know, like, that's not a prime operating area.
Probably you would have to look in the Dale Laketown area. That's probably where, if you're going to search for answers about the Morwen, everything kind of has seemed to lead back to that point.
Okay.
So you're probably looking at spending your year end in that vicinity.
Okay. Um,
I mean, you can travel up from where you live, from Sunset up to there, and sort of ask questions and look for clues along the way.
okay. And that would have the, hmm. So would that be researching the Morwen instead of Asfrid?
Not necessarily. I mean, it's search for answers, so we'll see what answers you turn up.
Okay. Then I think she'll do that. Um, so that's lore.
Yeah, so the way it works, um, normally to do the search for answers, you have to spend a fellowship phase at a location with an appropriate source of learning. Usually
Uh-huh.
that's going to be like collections of scrolls, books, tablets, etc., or wise men. But in this case, we'll say you're more like trying to gather clues or rumors about the Morwin's activities and what might have happened to Asfrid.
Yeah, that sounds more like, yeah, that's
So it'll be a lore test, um, and then we'll roll on a table to see what you find out. So go ahead and give me a lore roll first.
okay.
Bum, 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 bum.
I object to that.
Would you like to spend a point of hope?
I would like to spend a point of hope. And that will raise it by 6.
All right, because your wits, yeah.
6.
All right. So, what do you have? What, if any, lore traits do you have? Do you have like shadow lore or?
I'm pretty sure she does. She has Mirkwood lore and Shadow lore.
Okay. Um. All right. Roll a d12.
What's the command? Oh, I can just do it. What? No, that didn't work. How do I roll? What do I type?
Slash roll space 1d12.
Oh, I didn't do the space.
It's not a culture blessing, it's just a blessing that you get free.
Well, dang it, Sophie.
Yeah!
Okay.
Found it.
So we can do one of two things.
Okay.
You can either treat this as a mystery revealed, which will allow you to uncover two useful elements of information, and you gain 1 experience point.
Uh-huh.
Or you can roll again. If you roll a natural 10 on the die, then you would have the potential of uncovering everything there is to know about this. So it's, do you want to take a really good result, or do you want to push your luck?
I'm looking at it. So a mystery reveals something substantial, two useful elements of information. I think I will take, so whatever, if I roll again and it's not a 10, do I still get the 8 or 9, or do I get whatever I rolled?
Um, I would let you take the best.
Okay. Well, then there's no reason to not roll
Yeah,
again.
go ahead.
Okay. Um,
Well, 8 or 9 it is then.
all right.
All right. So you gain 1 XP first of all.
Oh,
All right.
nice.
Um, so you spend the winter making your way up the river running towards Lake Town, stopping in at houses and hostelries along the way, speaking to chance travelers that you meet on the road. When you finally reach Lake Town, buying drinks, spending liberally of Lord Kaewina's coin, which he's provided for this purpose, asking for any news that you can possibly find about either the Dark Lady or Lady Asfrid. And you are able to uncover 2 substantial pieces of information. The first is that, as you've guessed, though you've never known for sure, the Morwen is unfathomably old, at least by human standards. According to a dwarven librarian by the name of Mar, who you meet in Lake Town and buy a mug of ale,
According
a dwarven librarian by the name of Mar,
Aho.
the Morwen is one and the same with the Dark Lady, an entity, a woman who sealed an ancient Northman warrior in a cursed tower long ago. Now, the tower is located on the northern edge of the waste in the foothills of the Withered Heath. And according to Mar, it is still inhabited by an ancient spider who purported to know something of the Morwen, though Mar does not know what it was.
Hmm.
Ah.
I don't want to go there.
I'm sure it's fine, Ben. The other thing you find out, though, is that the Morwen has struck a number of times over the course of the last 20 years, and it is believed that she may have, in fact, had a part in the death of Queen Una.
Yes.
Although her exact agenda is not known, there are whispers of her associating with the Easterlings of the Kingdom of Rune. The great Easterling Kingdom, relatively far to the east, which is currently at peace with the Kingdom of Dale. But more and more Easterlings have been appearing in Lake Town as merchants of late. And those in Lake Town are currently led by a wine merchant by the name of Bleda.
Wasn't there a different wine merchant before?
You're thinking of Ulfgar, who is an old friend of Asfrid's.
Right.
There's that one. There's that one. All right.
Cool. I was typing really fast.
Yep.
This helps.
Yep. Gotcha. All right. Angi, how are you spending your... so your first fellowship phase, you were returning a cultural relic. Is that right?
Right. Yep.
All right. So you're taking it back to Kona?
I am, or whoever. If he has family, but I guess Kona's the one that everybody knows about, I guess.
So you return to Lake Town, and you go to look up the the smithy of Kona the dwarf. And when you arrive, you find the building closed, the shutters drawn, and the door locked.
Well, no surprise there. I knock on the door.
No answer.
Is there any neighboring shops that are open?
Yeah, there are a few different shops here. This is kind of the Dwarven Quarter.
Okay, well,
In
I'm going to go
Laketown?
to the neighbor and see if he knows what happened to Kona.
Yeah, you ask around a bit. And after... Just pull this up. After asking around a bit, you eventually meet a dwarf named Reagan the Smith, who, when you ask him about Kona, he kind of shakes his head sadly and beckons you inside. Aye, well, that's a sad case if ever there was one, and no mistake. Can't imagine one of our womenfolk going off like that, traipsing across Wilderland, looking for her lost love.
Oh. Well, where do you suppose she went?
Oh, there was a word that her betrothed, Nervy the Road Warden, it was, that he went missing down away south somewhere.
That's what I was looking for. I found him, you might say.
Oh, that's excellent news.
Oh, not so much.
Didn't find all of them.
I think perhaps he'll be handing off the road warden responsibilities on account of his inability to continue in the position. He's dead, Regan.
I see.
I was rather hoping to return some of his things to Kona, but if she's off wandering in the wilds,
I believe he's got a family up at the mountain.
well, that was where I was going next.
Father, if nothing else.
Well, in that case, I'll be off to find the father. And if Nkona comes back, you tell him that we Marangi stopped by and that he wishes to speak to her. And I suppose by that time, if she comes back, she'll already know about what happened to Ornavi, and it'll be all right. And I won't have to have any awkward conversations that someone else will have already had.
Best of luck in all your endeavors, then.
You too, Regan. Good smithing.
All right, so you are able to go to the Lonely Mountain, and you return the staff of the Road Warden into the treasury of King Dain. What will you be doing for? So you increase your standing by 1.
My second, I'm going to spend while I'm at Erebor. I am going to see if they have anything in the libraries, any of the lore masters, know anything about this dark lady who imprisoned me. And
So you'll be searching for answers, would you say?
I'll also be searching for answers.
All right, give me a lower
I'll be
roll.
going to the library in my gnarly foot as often as possible.
Yes, she's so happy to see you.
Oh, Mar, it's you!
Oh, not again!
See, you should see this. My foot.
I've seen your foot.
It's actually getting a little better.
Oh, aye, it is. What are you doing here? I'm trying to get some work done.
I just came to return one of the great and ancient treasures of our people to King Dain, which I done. That having been done, and,
Right.
well,
So you're saying
really
it's done?
You really should go look at it in the treasury someday. It's a real piece.
I'm
It's
sure.
an emerald the size of your head. Anyway, maybe a little smaller, maybe like a baby's head. But anyway,
She taps her foot.
Anyway, I am looking for information about the dark lady what took my toenails.
All right. Give me a lore roll.
What's the TN on this?
14.
All right,
That's the
Alright,
best
that's
sentence ever.
and an extraordinary success.
Yeah, because you have 8 shadow. Gosh darn it.
Yeah,
All right.
well.
Do you have any lore traits?
I do. I have no. I do not.
Okay.
I
All
know-
right.
I know how to climb mountains and make fires and steal things.
Roll a d12.
Rollin'. Sure.
Cool.
I am not good at the reading.
All right. Consulting her lore books, Mar brings you a stack of reading, which you then sort of stumble your way through.
More, be a dear and read this word for me. No, be a dear and explain what that means.
In smaller words?
Pretend like I'm a goblin.
Right. I think this word actually means piss off.
So, having a bad day. The author was having a bad day then. It seems like you could have just said it verbally instead of going the trouble of writing it down.
All right. I'm gonna stop pursuing this line of inquiry lest we get just totally sidetracked. All right. So Mar brings up the books, which you sort of stumble your way through. And you read, Dwarven books of lore are a little bit short on mannish subjects. However, long ago, during the great days of the Dwarven kingdom of Khazad Dûm, the dwarves had great trade and commerce with the men of the West, the men of the island of Numenor. And you find that long ago, in the days before and immediately following the fall of Numenor, that there were in Middle-earth, along the coast, south of what is now the Kingdom of Gondor, great harborages and towns of the Numenorians, but not just of any Numenorians, of a certain sect of the Numenorians known as the King's Men, referred to by the elf friends as the Black Numenorians. These were men of Numenorian descent who sided with Sauron and who sought to extend their lives through dark sorcery. The Morwen's immortality, or seeming immortality, you believe, seems to have been tied, or seems to be tied to ritualistic sacrifices, which she performs to her dark god, as the enemy taught her long ago.
That would explain why she needed my toenails.
Jessica, how is Ranny spending her fellowship phase?
First, I'm going to need to clear some shadow. If I can.
Living in the shadow, doing nothing.
So it is song or.
Song or craft? Rolling craft. Oh.
Could I. Would it make sense to spend? How much shadow would get cleared if I tied it?
4.
4.
Forward get cleared.
Do you have a 6?
That's. What is that?
Do you have
Yeah,
a
she did good. Good.
With
All right.
10 shadow, is that worth it to spend a point of hope? to clear?
Yeah, that's a lot of shadow.
Okay, then I shall do so. Spending a point of hope and clearing 4 shadow.
Yeah, that's actually not bad at all.
That's
You got a little more wiggle room.
All right. And what is your year-end fellowship phase? How are you spending the end of the year?
Um, we already got a lot of information, but I was planning on spending it searching for answers, potentially alongside Warsong in Dale.
Okay. Very good. Give me a lore roll.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Hey.
Roll a d12.
Okay.
All right. And do you have any traits? Any lore
does.
traits?
Anduin, Beast, and Shadow.
All right. Shadow lore is the applicable one here. All right. So you turn up in your general inquiries with Warsong. Warsong had previously learned that the Morwen is associated with some of the Easterlings of the Kingdom of Ruin, who have been appearing more and more in Lake Town recently. So as the two of you are spending some time in Lake Town, asking around, visiting the local inns and taverns, paying Lord Kaywin his coin to anyone who has any kind of useful information, you learn that the Easterlings in the service of Bleda have been searching the Dalelands for something, combing through ancient fortifications and ruined halls from the glory days of Dale in search of nobody knows what. The Easterlings are at least nominally on good terms with King Bard and the Master of Lake Town, but tensions have been raised within the last 4 years by Bard's taking on the exiled prince Sanyar of Ruin, who escaped a coup before seeking refuge in the court of King Bard.
Is the area that she turned up the same area that Warsong heard about, where the spider is and the tower?
No, this would be in the Dalelands, kind of, if you're looking on the map, kind of probably out in this direction, in this, right around where the big Bardings word is on the map.
Okay.
Everybody all right?
Yes. No. I just closed my character sheet and had a beaker moment.
So that's the first bit of information that you turn up. The second bit of information that you turn up.
Great.
I feel like we need to go talk to this bleeding guy.
Yeah. That looks really interesting.
A few travelers, most of them weather-beaten, with a kind of a crazy look in their eyes, not dissimilar to Angi when you've met him, tell you rumors of the Minas Morwen, a tower that stands high somewhere in the eastern parts of the waste, of which only strange rumors have ever come. But it is said to be haunted by the spirits of the angered dead, guarded by wolves and orcs and fouler things. But none of these are so dangerous or so deadly as the spells of enchantment the lady has wound about it. At least, that's what the crazy one-eyed old man says before he takes your money and drinks your beer.
Oh, by the waste, you mean the waste.
The waste.
Not say growing out of your side.
Yep. All right. So that is what you turn up for your year-end fellowship phase, as you knock about Lake Town with Warsong, asking questions, talking to people.
Warsong was gonna stay with Foxglove
Yeah.
at the magic sword.
Unfortunately, the magic sword hasn't done a whole lot of business since it burned down a couple of weeks before you got into town. nobody's heard anything of Foxglove since.
Hashtag save Foxglove.
Ah,
All right, and that brings us to Illyri. Illyri, how are you spending your first fellowship phase?
Well, because I'm just full of hope and things to do, I'm gonna befriend a pony or a dog at Bjorn's house.
Is that a Beorning only undertaking?
It doesn't say Bjorning, it says Bjorn's house.
Let's see, what page is that?
123? Yeah.
Right, of the Adventurer's Guide, yeah, but which book is it in?
Oh.
There should be like a reference next to it that says it's in like Heart of the Wild page something.
That's the one. Heart of the Wild, page 42.
I'm now 4 books deep and researching this fellowship phase.
Wow.
Okay, very good. Which one are you going to befriend? Blah, blah.
A hound.
All right, befriend a hound for the next adventuring phase. When the companion is making a roll using awe, explore, or hunting, you may roll the feat die twice and keep the best result. Very good. So you spend the first fellowship phase trying to learn a bit from Beorn and
Not talking to any humans.
not talking to any people. That's all right. Animals are better than people. Take it from me. All right.
He's like, I would have run away too, man.
Could you send... I guess that's a book you don't actually have the text for, so you can't just send me the text. Okay.
I can type it in for you, though.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Explore or hunting. All right, there you go. All right. And then what are you doing for your year-end fellowship phase?
Year end, I am going to... And not great options. I think I will... I know the normal stuff is good idea. Can I do the same thing they were doing and look for information?
You can.
Like rejoin them and like...
Yeah, that works. Because basically it has you all meeting up in the Lake Town area, which is quite handy. So.
what is the...
Yep.
What's the skill for that?
Lore.
Oh, is it? Lovely. Is there any other skill you can use for that?
It's really just lore.
Okay, maybe I shouldn't do that.
Oh.
That's okay.
All right. So, as the winter passes, right before we move into the next adventuring phase, a couple of things. First of all, I need some wheel and woe rolls.
all right.
So, 1d12?
It's 1d12. We'll start with Sophie. Sophie, roll a d12 and cast your fates upon the uncaring dice. Ooh, that's... Cool. Right. War Song. A foul wind blows down during the winter out of the long marshes. And many at Sunstead, including your mother Gelvira, fall ill. Although she seems likely to survive, there are others in Sunstead who have been less fortunate. You will add no hope to the fellowship pool for the following year. All right. Angi, give me a d12 roll.
Doing the thing.
Not
Well, that could be
first.
better.
Where were you spending your year-end fellowship phase again, Augie?
I think probably in Dale.
What was the undertaking that you did? Oh, you were searching for answers too. So that was at Erebor. So you're
That
yeah,
was at
okay.
Airborne. So
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess I'm
Okay.
Airborne.
All right, Ongi, you rolled a 4.
Yeah.
Although you have no real place to call home, you are at least grateful for the hospitality of some of your kin. Nothing of note happens.
Oh, it was a boring winter. But I did find a recipe for the forge baked cheese sandwiches, which I'm very desperate to throw out.
Right. Rani, roll a d12.
Get a good roll.
I am not good at
Hey, it's getting better. By the time you get through there, it might be good.
Now you just had to jinx it.
Rani, nothing of note happens this year as you travel abroad, enjoying the company of friends and hearing strange and new songs of other cultures.
Alrighty.
All right.
I have a question about my fellowship phase.
Uh-huh.
In Dale, is that somewhere where you would? I'm still trying really hard to be riding my horse somewhere. Is that?
Yeah, you could have definitely ridden your horse if you were with I mean, your horse would probably not have gone through the forest. That's the only rub, is it would have been hard for you to get there. I guess you could have gone up through the Grey Mountain Narrows on horseback. You could have ridden up over the north of the forest and onto Lake Town from there.
Ongi would have went with you.
Thanks.
It was very talkative the whole time.
It's always good to go back through the mountains and see the old homesteads, the ones where all the orcs live.
There too.
All right, Illyri, roll a d12, please. Oh. Dang.
I'm so sorry.
You
Illyri.
gotta be kidding me. This is terrible. No.
Word of your cowardice has spread throughout the lands of the Woodmen and Beornings. And despite your previous deeds, you find yourself now an unwelcome guest at bed and board. For the following year, you decrease the tolerance of the entire party by 1 in encounters with Woodmen and Beornings.
Fantastic.
I insulted a lot of people I was there, guys. Sorry. I didn't talk to many people, but the people I did talk to, it didn't go well.
Yeah. Well, it was mostly abandoning Rani to die.
Yeah.
Especially Randy's like a local hero now.
Yeah. All right. So, I don't think any of you have holdings at this point, so we don't have any holding upkeep stuff to do. And so that will start us out. The adventuring year, the spring of 2963. The frost is still on the leaves. The rivers are just beginning to break up from their icy bonds and flow freely once again. And you find yourselves in Lake Town, having arrived recently and staying around the Lake Town Dale Esgaroth, or the Lake Town Dale Erebor area, searching for clues as to the whereabouts of Lady Asfrid and perhaps Foxglove, as well as the nature of the Dark Lady, known as the Morwen. And at this point, I'm going to put the adventuring phase kind of into your hands, so to speak. Where would you like to go? What would you like to do?
I'm going to go diving for treasure on Snogg's corpse.
I'm ready for you, buddy.
What's going on in the rest of the world? You never did the.
I'm so sorry. Thank you.
And you send me the text also.
I will send you the text,
Thank you.
which I will have to type up.
Oh, okay. Well, then I will start typing.
You are-
All right. Uh, throughout the winter and into the spring, curious weeds have begun to grow in many places throughout Mirkwood. These thorny, wild plants look black in the darkness of the trees, but have an eerie purplish shade when viewed under direct sunlight. The black pigs of the woodmen find that the weeds are very tasty, but the plant is poisonous to both men and beast, and many pigs die after eating them. The weed also crowds into farmland, choking fruit and crops.
What do we call it?
What would you like to name it? It just appeared.
We call it dead pigweed.
Okay. I accept this.
I'll come up with a woodman version of that. I like it though. Schweinbanner. After appearing at the last battle against the Viglandings in the form of a huge bear, Beorn leaves his hall and travels towards the Misty Mountains on a mysterious errand. A few among his followers say that after the Battle of Five Armies, Beorn made a similar journey, and that when he returned, he welcomed men to settle under his protection for the first time. Some of the Beornings fear that Beorn will change his mind upon his return and send them away. In Sunstead, Lord Kaowina grows increasingly erratic and frustrated, tended to with great fidelity by Berthagund, who is now, in Lady Asfrid's absence, taken over the running of his household. In the area around Laketown and Dale, the incursions of goblins and trolls have become increasingly recurrent. There appears to be at least a large number of them sheltering in the long marshes, and by night they make daring raids across the plains, striking against poorly guarded settlements. And Dale's outlanders, as well as the men of the Long Lake, are hard put to it to drive the raiders back.
Orcs raid Dale.
The Dale lands, not Dale itself, but around Dale.
Evil, not crazy.
All right, and that's where we're going to begin in the early spring of 2963 of the Third Age. You guys are all in Laketown together. The magic sword is closed. It is a charred husk of a building, and nobody that you talk to seems to really know what happened the night of the fire, but no one has seen Foxglove since.
Can I kick through the ashes in search of a magic sword?
Give me a search roll.
It would be a shame if nobody had the sword, and if it was just sitting there, not rusting because it's magical, but just sitting there. All right, and that is a 14, I assume?
Yep.
Plus, so 17.
You do not find any magical swords.
Do I find anything?
You find a charred bit of what appears to be a boot.
Oh,
Other than that, the place, I mean, it's hard to tell because it has been burned down, but best you can tell, there was some kind of a row in the common room. Like everything wooden is kind of burned and charred, but there's a lot of broken glass.
sure.
Some
Tables are turned over.
tables turned over, stains that might be blood stains, you can't tell.
Well, okay. I think, for what it's worth, having heard all of the information gathered by everybody here, that we should go and talk to Bleeder.
I think that would be a wise plan.
So,
Warsong, you know, has kind of been poking through also. Let's see. But she had been wanting to go talk to.
Okay. Blada.
out of curiosity, when Rennie tells the group about the tower on the edge of the waste, or in the eastern part of the waste, does that sound familiar? Is that where Angi was held?
Your memories, Angi, of the tower are really patchy. But it certainly sounds familiar. It certainly sounds like you can remember something surrounded by enormous slag heaps on either side, jutting up out of the desert wasteland like a curving tooth or like a single finger of a claw reaching towards the sky.
So the spider is where Angi was held?
No. If you'll read the text there, when Randy was searching, she found out that there is believed to be a location known as Minas Morwen, which is essentially the Tower of Morwen, which potentially could be where her home, base of operations, evil jerk lair.
Said where she resides. Home sounds right.
At least rumors.
Yeah, I see that. Okay.
I think Mar has actually been to the spider
Right.
location.
Mark has been there.
She has been there.
Missed that.
If you'd like to talk to her about it, you can.
I think, if there's not some other objection, we should go talk to Bleeda, find out what his Easterlings are up to, and find out what he knows about.
All right. Is that what we're doing?
That's what we're doing. Warsong calls Sigaroon, who's snuffling around in the ashes.
Illyri has a dog now too, and she has a horse. Ungi's gonna need a bird or something.
Give me a search roll, Warsong,
All right.
just out of curiosity.
Warsong has no search, which is
Well, just roll it.
I have really good explore. Sort of.
it wouldn't be explore, right? It would have to be search.
Yep. All right. So the you do a bit of asking around, and I need to get out my map of Lake Town.
Be back in just a moment.
All right. So, if we say that he's wearing a giant M pendant, or possibly has it branded into his forehead, I think perhaps we tell him that Rani will use this giant spear and stick it where the sun don't shine, and then if he don't put, because Rani is terrifying, and this spear has been in some very dark places.
You know your very first kill, Rani. Do you remember?
I recall that.
But it's been in other places. It's also dark since then. Or most of them.
I mean, technically, anywhere in Mirkwood is a place where the sun doesn't shine.
Which brings up a whole list of analogies for Mirkwood.
Right.
Oh, Mirkwood.
But that's what I'm suggesting. Now, if you look at my character sheet, which is a way of saying my personality profile and or my skill set, I am not very terrifying. Rani, on the other hand, he's a beast. Larry probably is too, but
Well,
Sure.
more literally.
That's true. Angi's only ever seen Illyria in the one fight.
Oh man.
True.
Yeah.
Just
I
That's
tell you what,
awesome.
you are officially not half dwarf. I am disowning you as a beetle.
Is that all?
it's an ill wind.
You are now just half a human.
Oh! Oh! Ouch.
Dang. All right. So the four of you head off to the home. This is weird, all of you being in Lake Town and not actually having people that you know. I'm used to like you having all these connections in Lake Town, and none of these characters really know anyone here.
Best.
What was that?
It's probably best no one knows me.
Is it on the way for them to stop by where Lady Asfrid's shop used to be? Because I think Warsong would be kind of curious.
Yeah. I mean, she didn't so much have a shop as she had a house, like a really big mansion. And it's been sold. So she sold the whole business when she moved. So so there's still the bolt of cloth out front. Seems like business is kind of going along as usual. With it under the new tenants.
Is it? Okay, so now I'm curious. Is it obvious if somebody's an Easterling? Is it owned by an Easterling? Does the owner have a rune M pendant?
So people for
Are you racially profiling?
so Northmen are like it's like going to Sweden or Germany. Like you can tell somebody's a Northman. It's really obvious. And Easterlings definitely have a somewhat like Queen Una was an Easterling, right? So they definitely have a somewhat darker complexion. Like not super dark, but it's significant enough for there to be a difference that you would be able to notice.
So does she see the owner?
The people that you see working the shop right now don't appear to be Easterlings. They all look like Northmen. If you'd like, you could ask around.
Sorry, ask around about what? I was answering chat.
Well, I mean, if you'd like, you can try to find the owners and talk to them. But it doesn't appear that they are Easterlings.
I might come back later, but
Okay.
we're supposed to.
All right. So, you asking about the town a bit, you find that Bleda lives in a very nice house that he is currently renting, in the Merchants Quarter, which is in kind of the middle northwestern quadrant of Lake Town. And as you arrive in front of the house, you see that emblazoned, actually hung in red silk across the front door, there is a kind of a banner, a red field with a golden serpent on it. And as you knock at the door, you wait a moment, and
Does Warsong recognize the symbol?
I was gonna ask that too.
no. After a moment, the door opens, and a very pretty, dark-eyed girl about a head shorter than Warsong opens the door, and she looks very curiously at the four of you, kind of Rani, Warsong, Illyri, Angi, and just kind of top to bottom, bottom back to top. Yes, how may I please you?
I believe. Yes, Warsaw.
We were here to speak with Bleda, the merchant.
Oh. Do you have an appointment with him?
No, we haven't made an appointment. Are you the one that we speak to about that?
I am one of the ones. What is it you desire to speak with him about?
We just had some questions we wanted to ask.
I see. She starts to close the door. Master Blade is a very busy man. Perhaps you could come back later.
Ongi shoves his booted foot in the edge of the door to keep it open. Oh, tell your master it's about the dog lady.
She kind of seems to blush a bit and
Not that kind of dog lady.
looks down at her hands. I see.
Yikes.
Do we all look the same to you?
No, you're actually quite lovely, but which that's saying something because I'm a dwarf, and
I had noticed that.
well, anyway, tell your master it's about the Morwen and or the Dark Lady and or yeah, I think you'll know what I'm talking about.
This more when it is a person. It is a woman.
That isn't a name to be spoken lightly. And Warsong looks sharply at Ongi. Jesse, I think he will want to speak to us.
I will see what he has to say. Wait here, please. She kind of tries to close the door again.
Oh, I believe my foot is stuck on your lintel. Oh, I don't think it's gonna come off until your master shows up.
Perhaps I could call a couple of the household guards and they could move it for you.
Well, you do that and tell them it won't come off without wine. It requires lubricant at this point, something a little bit to, unwedge it as it were.
She calls back over her shoulder, and as she disappears from the door, two very large men in
Hello.
clean linen tunics step forward with curving scimitars at their side.
Well, say, gentlemen, my foot is stuck in your door. And
One of them just reaches down, picks you up by the scruff, and plants you about 2 feet out in the street, and the door.
well, look at that! You got unstuck all by your lonesome. Without anyone at all.
You stand there waiting for several minutes. And finally, just when you think that maybe you've completely worn out your welcome, the door opens again. Can't hear you, Soph. Oh no, it's doing the thing! It's doing the thing! It was doing this the other night. No. Hello?
Hear me now.
Yes.
All right. Okay, since they're standing there for a few minutes, are Warsong's going to look at Ongi. So are we telling him about the Morwen? Is that what you're wanting to do?
Well, I did think we were looking for her, weren't we?
Well, we're looking for her, but we also want to know why the Easterlings are in town. Do we want to...
Well, I mean,
And if,
we could probably...
if it's related to her, but...
Essentially, I guess we're looking for what he's looking for. But, I mean, I guess I was sort of... as a given, since it came up while we were looking for the Morwen, that it was related, which maybe that's not the case.
Well, I think it might be, but we also don't know
Who's on whose
like
side?
whose side they're on.
Right.
So if we, yeah, so I think we're going for more subtle.
It was mostly a gambit to find an actually for a reason for him to come talk to us.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Just trying to figure out what exactly we're saying in the conversation with him.
Yeah, no, I think probably we are hoping to find out what his Easterlings are looking for. Correct?
Yeah. Like, why are there so many Easterlings, and is it a power play? Like, are they showing up like as if they
Do
are?
we, maybe did it come up and I missed it? Do we know if she already has a relationship with the Easterlings?
I think it did.
For association with Easterlings in your rune.
Let me find the text.
Okay, yeah, no, I see that. That was your first roll.
Yeah.
And it's believed to have part of the good. There are a number of whispers. Okay, so theoretically, if we can figure out what the Easterlings are looking for, then possibly we can figure out what the Mormon's looking for. Do we want to offer our services as treasure hunters to assist him in his searching?
That could work.
I mean, I myself am a quite. What am I exactly? I am a. I know how to find things.
Yeah.
Most of you are seasoned warriors, also women. How does this keep happening to me? Anyway, so do you want to offer our services as treasure hunters, or
Treasure hunter sounds good. Not for an indefinite period of time, because as far as we know, they still haven't found Warsong.
I mean, Asfrid?
For the other character.
Okay. Yeah,
This
no. My
character.
thought is that we're not actually going to find his treasure for him unless it's actually needing to be found before someone else finds it.
Right. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
that we talk.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Let's put that.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Got a
And,
plan.
So let's see, real quick. I guess I have the highest persuade at this point, and we all pretty much except for
I have a 2 in
except
riddle,
for.
and I'm betting this
Oh, that is also good.
be persuade. I bet this is going to be riddle.
I also have a 2 in riddle. Anyone else have a better than 2?
No, 2 is mine.
I have a 2 in courtesy. Does anyone? Wait.
1 in courtesy.
I do have a 2. I have a 2 in courtesy. Oh, I'm sorry. I was reading it wrong. I do have a 2 in courtesy. I have a 2 in courtesy and 2 in persuade.
Cool. And a 2 in riddle. Yeah. All right. Lena.
The door swings open again, and you see the young girl standing there again. And it strikes you, she'd seemed very authoritative the first time that she opened the door and spoke to you, but now you're pretty sure she couldn't be much older than 14 or 15. But it is hard to tell. And she says, she takes a step back away from the door as it opens, and she bows her head and presses both hands to her forehead and says, "Bless this house. Please come in. My master is very busy right now, but he may have a few moments to spare. If your news is urgent." And you are led into a very large kind of a sitting room. It's been lavishly done over and decorated. Everything in Lake Town is a little opulent, a little posh anyway, just because the Lake men are pretty well off, and they're merchants, so they import a lot of things from the east. But here, it's magnificence and splendor of to a level you've never seen before. There's a huge embroidered rug on the floor, bright, dazzling colors depicting hunting scenes and battles and men on horseback and courtly women and a thousand scenes from a world that you don't really know or understand. There, in lieu of chairs and a table, there's a low board set off to the side and a number of enormous cushions scattered about the room. There are 4 guards, 2 posted at each entrance to the room, standing there with arms folded, scimitars hanging at their sides.
Do I see the guy who took me out?
Yes.
I smile and wave at him.
He does not acknowledge you. And in the center of the room, and back a little bit from the door, you see seated on a cushion a very good-looking man, probably in his 30s, kind of a dark olive skin, a long black beard that has been oiled and braided. Seems to be eating a bit of bread or something, dipping into some kind of a sauce from a bowl in front of him. And he motions to the 4 of you to sit down as you enter. And bread and wine is set before you.
Sigaroon had to stay outside.
Is that what that sound is?
Yes. No, I don't see any reason he'd have to.
All right. So Warsong sits down and Sigaroon next to her,
Okay.
and he's just like this rug.
It is a fortunate day that you enter my home, my friend. You see, I am just enjoying a ewer of good wine from my vineyards in Dorwinion. And therefore, I'm in a good mood, a mood to be, shall we say, entertained by travelers. You have until this cup of wine runs dry to tell me what is your business and how Bleda of Rune may be of service to you. Okay, so who's speaking? Are you all speaking for yourselves, or is one person speaking for the group?
I think one person is speaking for the group.
All right.
Do we know what kind of encounter this is? Is it a courtesy sort of thing?
Would you
or-
like to give me a preparatory roll of insight?
That would be fantastic.
I have
I'm gonna be right back, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, Randy has fantastic insight too, so she needs to roll that.
What is the TN?
14.
High five
Wow.
on the left.
Definitely seems, I mean, this is a wealthy man. Doesn't seem like he's impressed easily. It definitely seems like courtesy would be your best route here. Of course, if you want to conceal things about your true motives and intents, then that's going to be a riddle.
Do we need to start out with the idea to conceal our motives, or could we see how it goes and then?
It's up to you.
I think if we try to conceal right off the bat and we end up looking suspicious, that could be shooting ourselves in the foot.
Yeah, I don't think at any point we necessarily would be lying to him about wanting to be a treasure. Look
Yeah.
for this treasure for him. So I don't think we need to conceal anything at the moment.
Yeah.
All right.
I have to do the courtesy- you know, I mean, I'm willing to do the talking. I mean, I might annoy the heck out of Jess, but
Anki can do the talking because he has the riddle and the insight, or the riddle and the courtesy and the persuade.
all right.
Okay.
I shoot a glance at Ranny, who seems to have been giving this man the eye, or at least the once over. And
Please.
well then, Mr. Blighter of Rune, this is your lucky day, because we are a season group of treasure hunters, and we've
I'm-
heard
Sorry, I do not believe I've had the privilege of your name.
that's a good point. My name is Ongentir of the Grey Mountain, though my friends and you may call me Ungi. And this at the very far end is my friend Rani. She's a mighty warrioress, the likes of which the world hasn't seen since some previous age, which I can't name. And this is Warsong. and this is her dog, Sigrun, who is huge. But Warsong herself is also quite good. I've seen her with an axe. She's very good. And this is a Leary who is small and terrifying. The first time I met her, she held a knife to my throat and asked my name. And you know what? I told her because it was terrifying.
I'm
And
gonna need you to roll awe, buddy.
that wasn't what I was going for.
But you were totally spouting off achievements, and that's awe.
That sucks because I have no awe.
But he was
All right.
nice about it.
Don't fail me now.
Awe isn't mean. Awe is like trying to impress someone with your achievements, and that's what that was.
Okay. All right.
I'm-
Here we go. Oh, dang it. Okay. Well, I have. That's a 10. So if I spend a point of courage, do we have courage for anybody in the party?
You have courage.
Okay. I have 2 points of courage, 1 point of courage.
Well, Warsong has a total of 22 XP.
Okay.
So I think that means that how much XP does he have? I think it's per 10.
Okay. So 2. Okay.
So I think you have 2.
Alright. I'm gonna spend 1 point to push me over the top there. So that should hit 14 rather handily.
Whoa, that's right. You're dwarf stiff neck.
What is your
Yes,
total?
that's 10. But that's gonna be so that's not favored. So body, that's 16.
16 just makes it. Dang, I can't believe you turned a 2 into a 16. That is-
Dwarves.
That is crazy pants.
At this point, I'm pretty much hate chiropractors.
He kind of taps the rim of his cup. Yes. So, as you're saying, Angantir, you said that today was my lucky day, but you also mentioned to my wife that you had information about some dark lady.
Well, mostly, like we do have some information, but I was about to be vague. Mostly, we were wondering if perhaps you had heard of this foreign woman, this dark lady, and we had heard at the same time that you were looking for people of keen eye and wit.
Give me a riddle roll.
Is it TN 16 or I just don't know the TN?
14.
14. What did I roll? But it's 20 with the stiff neck of the dwarves.
Well, I do not know of any particular dark woman. There are many of my kinswomen, the people of my country, among your lake town. I could not point you in the direction of anyone in particular.
Well, if I'm a point of clarification, man, the dark lady is more of a title and less of a descriptor, so she's not actually an Easterling that I'm aware of.
I see. Well then, I'm afraid I could be even less help to you. As you may imagine, all of these pale skins look alike.
I know, right? It's like, for dwarves, after a certain height, you might as well be a dog. That was the wrong thing to say. But, I think you get my meaning.
He looks down at his glass of wine, which is about half full now.
So, on to our other bit of business. Word on the street is that you've got a small army of your kinsfolk out in the wilds looking for something.
That is the word on the street, as you say.
Word on the street. And now, as I said before, I think we could be of assistance to you. Just this last year, I managed, with my companions here, to find the staff of the road warden. And now, most folks thought he was lost and gone, or at least missing, but we managed to track him all the way back down in the very depths of Mirkwood. There was trolls, there was goblins, but we did it. And I think we could help you as well, sir.
I do not understand. What makes you think that I am in need of help?
Well, you're looking for treasure. We're good at finding treasure, or maybe it's not treasure. Maybe it's alt. You name it, we can find it. Ungi and Sons Incorporated. None of these are my sons.
Give me a riddle roll.
No eyes. I mean, I can still make it with my stiff neck of the dwarves, but it's an eye.
There is a small matter of interest to my people. It is no treasure, and he kind of extends a hand decked with many rings and a large gold bracelet. It is no mere weighty trash such as this which I seek in these lands. We are here first and foremost for trade, of course. Your people provide us with many things of great value. Wool, for instance. But it is not for these things that I search the wilderness either. There are certain scrolls which it would be of great interest to me to have recovered. Things which tell of the ancient days when the men of Rune and the men of the great northern kingdom of Dale trafficked in trade up and down the river Running. Now, if someone were to find these scrolls, be they histories or perhaps genealogies, I would be most interested and quite willing to pay well for the acquisition of such things. If you are, as you say, so skilled a treasure hunter, you no doubt have a better idea than I of where to look.
Oh, we've got some people we could ask. Got some, we could do some research, ask about, and the usual.
Well, if you should choose to do so, my door is open to you. Otherwise, I appear to be out of wine.
Well, ladies, this is a democracy, and What do you say? Do we help this fine gentleman out with his scroll problem?
This word democracy.
Well, mostly, I'm worried that if I don't let them have a say, they will stop me into jelly and throw me in the lake.
You're a wise dwarf.
Oh
Or
no,
got like a half smile on her face.
I will allow you to do the jelly stomping at your own convenience. Now, however, I have other pressing business. My wife will see you out.
Uh,
The 15-year-old?
congratulations on your recent nuptials. One assumes.
Thank you.
One assumes.
To have many wives is to have many blessings, but also many bills.
Well, I'm sure many babies.
Indeed.
Well, thank you very much for your time today, and tell the big man there with the scimitar that he has very soft hands, and I appreciate his gentleness previously when he was helping me get my foot unstuck from your door.
So glad you finished that sentence.
Oh my god.
All right. So the girl
Yeah.
shows you all to the door.
As they leave, Warsong is going to the same bow that she did to welcome them and say, I am Warsong, and we may meet again soon.
She takes both of your hands and then clasps the sides of your cheeks and pulls you in and kisses you on each cheek. And as she does so, she says, "Perhaps around back in an hour."
I'll be there.
Peace be with you.
Peace be with you.
All right. So leaving the house of Bleda. Is there anything you guys want to do in the intervening hour?
Well, I think that went quite well. As in, it could have gone worse.
No one is more surprised than me.
I forgot about the stiff neck of the doors. You
Holy crap. You turned a
All of the
2 into
talking.
a 16.
Okay, is Mar in Laketown or in Dale?
She's in Dale.
Okay, who else? What other lore masters are here in town that we could potentially?
You guys don't know any.
Oh, okay.
Can we ask around and
I
try
was
to?
gonna say, could maybe Angi go ask around while the rest of you are talking to the girl or whoever wishes to talk to her?
Yeah, where would you be looking, Angi?
I think I would go to
There's
the dwarf quarter.
yeah,
I might-
the Artisans District. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or I might be able to leverage a bit of my standing to get a few.
Not a lot of lore masters among the dwarves. However, Gloin,
Oh,
one of Thorin's company, is currently in residency, sort of the kind of like the ambassador,
yeah.
you could say. And he's fairly influential. Again, not exactly a lore master, but
Well, are there any? I mean, are there any other lore masters among the elves, or?
there are a few elves in the Elven Quarter. They're mostly let's see here. Raft elves. They're also emissaries of the Elven King. There's also the town hall that is kind of the that's where like the town's lore masters would probably be in the employ of the master of the town.
Okay.
Um, yeah. Uh, Laketown's a town that's known more for its trade than for its lore, certainly. But there are, I mean, if you wanted to ask around town hall, you could. If you wanted to go talk to Gloin, it really just depends. I don't know exactly what you're wanting to ask, so.
Mostly, I'm wanting to find out what they might know about this treasure that he's actually looking for. Who might have ancient texts, especially out in the wild. Where to begin this search?
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, you could probably go talk to somebody at town hall. You could visit,
Okay, I'll do that.
local taverns and just ask around.
I'll go talk to town hall and see if there's anyone there might be able to.
All right. So we'll cut back to you in a minute. So Warsong, Ranny, and Illyri, are you all going to talk to
Yes.
Rugilia? Okay.
Did she ever give her name?
Rugilia.
So she did.
All right. At the end of about an hour and a little more, a small servant's door on the back of the house opens out into the alley where you are all waiting, and the girl steps out. She has a cloak kind of pulled around her shoulders. The hood and as she steps out, she kind of draws the hood up over her face. She glances around until her eyes find the three of you. Thank you for coming. I do not have long. My master may require my presence at any moment. Are you really treasure hunters?
We are, among other things.
You spoke of the Dark Lady. Do you know her?
I've met her a few times.
And you have survived.
Yes. I know those who haven't.
I do not have much. I do not have much money except what is given me for the managing of the house. But there's a young man named Tuatila, one of my people. He ran afoul of my master and the Morwen. I'm afraid they're keeping him as a prisoner in that tower. Please, if you could find him. I don't have to see him. I just want to know that he's all right.
I will do whatever I can. As much as I can.
There is... Do you know the teeth of the dragon?
What is the dragon?
The teeth of the dragon. It is a series of sheer slag heaps which run northwest on a line from the Iron Hills to the Withered Heath. You can find the tower by following the teeth to a place in the range where the slag heaps widen, and out of the gap a high spiked tower rises to the sky, surrounded by a stagnant mere of brackish water.
In there?
Have you been there?
I've only seen it once from a long way off. Even now the memory is cloudy, and it's not easy to speak of. Please, if you could find him, tell him that. Tell him that I am happy. It is not true, but tell him anyway.
I'll tell him.
Thank you.
And I will see you again, Regalia.
I suspect we will be in town until my master's business concludes.
How long do you expect that to be?
I do not know.
What is his business?
He tells me very little. He's searching for something. I think it is a genealogical record of some kind. He has his men search the castles and the ruins of the old settlements from before the dragon came. I don't know what he hopes to find, but he has spent much money, and he will spend much more to find it.
Is it possible it's the genealogical record of the Morwen or someone she...
I do not know. I think whatever it is, she greatly desires to have it.
Regalia.
Is he getting it for her? Or is he trying to get it trying to keep it from her? Said the voice.
Does your master work with the dark lady? Or is he trying to get it before she...
I think that Bleda is far too afraid of her to try to cross her. Good luck. I cannot stay any longer.
Warsong takes her hands. I think what you've told us has been at your own risk. Go quickly, and we will meet again.
Peace be with you. You may need it where you are going.
And peace be with you. You will need it where you're going.
All right. Well, it's 10:35, so I think we'll stop it right there, and we'll pick up again next time with Angi's further investigations at the town hall.